Alright, we're gonna jump on. Cool. Alright, folks, we are jumping on. So, alright, everybody. Doing another kind of interesting live stream. We're kind of doing like a partial build today, folks. So, kind of show you what I got in today. So I got a little present in from GeonWorks. This is kind of another personal build for me. So as you guys know, if you're watching my streams, I'm a big fan of GeonWorks and just their boards in general. Just my microphone there. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I saw this announced. Oh gosh, it depends. So we're gonna kind of go through. So I'm kind of going through the board I'm gonna do. So I got this absurd board. So I got it's the Frog Mini Passante from GeonWorks. So which is pretty cool. So this is a tray mount 60%. This thing weighs like 2.5 kilos, 2.5, 3 kilos, or 7 pounds American, which is kind of cool. So pretty crazy. So what's up, friends? So I'm just having some fun here today, friends. But we're going to be building kind of a partial build. I don't have the keycaps, the exact keycap set in, but we're going to be building the internal assembly. So I actually have pretty much most of the Frog lineup. So I have kind of your standard Frog Mini Ligera here. It's made out of aluminum with a copper weight that I kind of scuffed up, so it'll patina over time. But this thing weighs like nothing. It weighs like a pound. And then I also have my GeonWorks Frog Mini built with salmon Alps. And to kind of complete out the Frog Mini trifecta, I picked up the Frog Mini Passante. So this thing is made of solid brass and then a full stainless steel a stainless steel weight. So this thing is ridiculous. Like, this thing isn't even built, and it's like absurd. Like, it weighs almost as much as my MM Studio Class 0413, which is 10 pounds built. So yeah, this thing's really gorgeous, but it is absurdly heavy. The keycaps I ordered are going to be here in I'd say like a week and a half. The person on eBay I bought the keycaps from, they're away, so they're going to be shipping off. But it's getting a set of FK 2001 keycaps, which is going to be really cool. So found an FK 2001 that was just a really cool keycap set that I really liked. The person just is away till like August 15th, so I'm not going to be seeing those keycaps for a little bit. But I got the Passante in. I have a PCB, I have a plate, and I also have the switches. So we're basically just going to be soldering in the switches today. What we're going to be using are going to be going with linears today. So we're going to be doing some Alps SKCL Yellow switches. So these are similar to the Alps SKCL Green switches, which are 50 grams spring weight. These are a little bit heavier at 60 grams. So really cool switches. I harvested these from a Zenith ZKB2 about a month and a half ago. So I've been sitting on these switches trying to figure out the right board. And I figured when I saw the yellow of the Passante, I'm like, oh yeah, this is getting the yellow Alps. So really cool switches. I also got the plate from Tom over at Hype Keyboards. Tom is pretty much my go-to plate guy. If you see me building boards on stream, especially custom Alps builds or builds where I've gotten some custom plates, they're always going to be made by Tom over at Hype Keyboards. Tom is just kind of my go-to guy. I've ordered a ton of plates from him. And don't be surprised if Hype Keyboards eventually be a sponsor of my social media content. So I've been talking to Tom about that. So, but really cool. And then I also got this Steezy PCB. So this is from Apple T over in Sweden. So again, if you're looking for a 60% Alps build, you can get these PCBs for about $50 shipped, which is pretty cool. So they're solder only, but they support a ton of different layouts and a ton of different keycaps that you can do. So you can it also comes with Cherry MX stab mounts. So if you want to use the DCS keycap sets, these are really great for you can do it. So, I'm a big fan of Cherry MX. You kidding me? I have like 50 something boards in my collection. Most of them are all high end, and like half of them are like Cherry MX. So I am not a hater of Cherry MX. I love building stuff and tinkering with stuff, and Alps allows me to really kind of tinker with that vintage tech and whatnot. So no, I built this. I gotta be really careful. Give me a second. I gotta shuffle boards around. So keyboard dad, I built this monstrosity on stream yesterday. This is the Linworks Dolphin Max full-size keyboard. Don't ask how much it cost. It was really expensive. But this is built with Cherry MX switches. So they're using the KeyGeek Blue Cheese V1 linear switches with a 52-gram spring weight. And they're using GMK Classic Beige. So this is a really bespoke, really awesome board that we built on stream yesterday. The VOD is on my YouTube channel. You can find that link over my Instagram profile or what have you. But yeah, no, I love Cherry MX builds. I also have this monstrosity, which I've had for about a year. So this is 10 pounds brass and aluminum and steel. So yeah, I love Cherry MX. So and I also love the big boards. And the thing that's just kind of insane, what I just showed you, those two boards, this little thing weighs about as much as both of those boards. It's absolutely crazy, like how much this like just case weighs. And again, the whole case is made out of brass. And then just for like a screw you from Gion, they put a full stainless steel weight on the bottom just cause. So it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, we're here on stream. Again, this is a personal build. This is not a client commission. I do have some client commissions coming up. So if you're interested in a client commission to build, whether it be like an Alps build or Cherry MX, like again, look at my Instagram profile. I post a lot of my personal builds. I've done a lot of builds that have Cerakote. Again, I can do custom Alps builds. I have one of my client commissions. We had to do some custom CNC mods to the case. So again, whatever you can kind of, if you want to do like something really high end, something one of one that is like the only one in existence, or you want to do like an Alps build, like again, I'm located in Los Angeles, so I'm LA based. So, but again, I've been really getting in the commission game. I had a client, really awesome client, commissioned 3 extremely high end keyboards for me recently. So he's gotten 2 of those keyboards. Both are based around Alps, and we're working his 3rd build. Actually, we had to get custom Cerakote, which is at my Cerakote guy right now. So yeah, so I've also done boards that have that custom Cerakote. Like for example, before we really get going, I mean like in terms of custom Cerakote, here's like my custom Cerakoted thermal. This is a RamaWorks thermal. It's not the thermal V2 that Salvan has been running. So also thermal. If you want a thermal, you can get them from Salvan now, the R2 versions, and not have to deal with like the RamaWorks BS. So this is a board I custom Cerakoted. This is the only thermal that's like this in existence. So I had it custom Cerakoted GMK Star, and also the plate has a really cool green Cerakote. So it's really kind of cool. So I love just kind of working with custom boards. Again, I'm really kind of getting into the really kind of doing some insane things and making boards truly unique. And again, I like taking boards from like designers I really like Gion Works and other things like that, and really kind of making them crazy. And the thing that's also cool, Alps is a really cool way to kind of enter into like a space of the keyboard hobby that not a lot of people are in. So it's been really cool. So I've been doing a lot of really cool custom builds. So we'll kind of walk through nothing too crazy. So we're not doing any stabilizers. We're literally just soldering in switches today. One thing about Alps, we may have switches that have dead switch plates. So I'll kind of explain I'll kind of break down what an Alps switch is. So again, they're similar in concept to Cherry MX, but one thing about Alps, just a little bit of history lesson. Alps were kind of dominated the mechanical keyboard market in terms of mechanical switches in the 1980s and 1990s. And they were actually bigger than Cherry, and they actually dominated the market. Cherry was kind of a side note. Cherry was there doing really cool stuff. But Alps really dominated the market. Some of the biggest companies producing computers and producing keyboards were using Alps switches in their keyboards. IBM, Apple, HP, Zenith, a ton of like some of the giants of tech during that time period. This was their preferred go-to switch. It wasn't Cherry. So that's something that's really kind of interesting. Even when you have like two giants like Apple and IBM are utilizing your switches, that really says something. Now, Alps Electric is still around as a company, but they primarily focus on the enterprise electronic side. They don't really deal with consumer electronics anymore. By the time we get to the late 1990s, early 2000s, people are kind of moving away from Alps. And they're actually moving away from mechanical keyboards in general. And Alps really kind of sees a lot of their keyboard business kind of decline. So in the early 2000s, Alps actually sold off their keyboard division to a company called Matthias. And Matthias is still around. And Matthias actually produces new production Alps switches, and they're based out of Canada, which is really cool. But if you want to get into Alps, I really recommend converting a... again, Valley, you probably know more than me, man. Again, this is just kind of my service level knowledge of Alps. Again, I wouldn't consider myself a full-blown historian on Alps history, but I think it's really cool what Alps kind of did back in the day. So I think it's just really kind of fun and interesting. So again, we're going to be working with Yellow Alps. Again, these are linear. So again, they're a handful of the linears that Alps made back in the day. So really cool switch. So I'm really looking forward to working with these. So we'll just kind of put in some of the switches in, and then we'll kind of start soldering these switches in. So nothing too crazy. You might see me troubleshooting some dead switches today. So we're just going to kind of go through and put these switches in here. So let me get that one in my caps lock in here. Perfect. And we'll start putting them in. But yeah, again, it's really kind of cool. But yeah, like Alps was really cool. It sucks they're not really in the consumer electronics game anymore. I really enjoy their switches. I think they have a really cool history, kind of being head-to-head with Cherry back in the day. But, I mean, now, I mean, of course, the mechanical keyboard market is pretty much Cherry and their derivatives, which there's nothing wrong with that. I love my Cherry MX builds. Like, I freaking love them. But there is just something really cool about Alps. And especially when you're using, like, original Alps, like from these original keyboards, I think is really cool. So Alps, you're really gonna have to harvest them and desolder them from original boards. So my folks who are into like vintage Cherry MX Blacks and you've harvested vintage Cherry MX Blacks from older boards, it's essentially the same concept. You basically just, again, tear the boards apart, desolder the pins, remove the switches, and you put them in a modern board. So that's kind of the best way I can kind of explain Alps harvesting. But you basically got to get them from original boards. Matthias switches are fine. I think Matthias, I really tip my hat to Matthias and what they're doing, but they get you like 80 to 90% of the way there. But honestly, if you're going to go Alps, just try it. Just, I think putting in the time to like get the original switches, I think is really worth it and really advantageous. So, but yeah, I have like a huge selection of Alps, and like my kind of goal is to kind of have a build with every single Alps type. And for my people who are really experienced in Alps, yes, I would like eventually to have a neon green Alps build, but that will be like my true end game Alps, because that will be probably several $1,000s, because the switches alone are like $2,000 to $3,000 depending on what size board I go with. So I'll save neon greens for like literally the last ever personal Alps build that I ever do, because yeah, that ain't gonna be cheap when I eventually get to that. So because yeah, I think neon green Alps are like the rarest Alp switch. If you find them, you're looking $20 to $30 a switch. So if you're doing like a full size, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 for like enough to do a full size. So it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, so I'm definitely not looking into getting something like that. So we're just firing up the soldering iron. We're going to go through and solder kind of these switches first just to kind of hold everything in place. And then I'm just going to go through and test the switches. One thing about these switches is the actual part that has the pins, these are like 40-year-old switches. So sometimes the switch plates and the parts that has the pins, sometimes those corrode and give out. Thankfully, I have a metric crap load of Alps parts on hand. So if we have dead switch plates, we're just going to swap out the switch plates. But that's essentially what we are doing today, folks. So let's get my soldering iron ready to go. It's all warmed up. And we're just going to kind of go through. So, fun times. So, yeah. Yeah, keyboard dad, you definitely need an Alps board, dude. I think everyone should have an Alps board in their collection. So, it's just kind of, that's kind of my 2 cents. I mean, I'm also very biased towards Alps, and I like them. So, I mean, I've very, very deeply invested into Alps. I mean, I have like a little hoard and stockpile of Alps switches going on. So, it's just kind of crazy, man. So, let's just solder these switches in, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. Got one of the corners. Let me turn on my little vent. I always forget to turn that on. So, but yeah, fun times. Alps are definitely a really good one. But yeah, Vala, thanks for the clarification. I really appreciate that. It's also nice knowing too that there are people within like the little tiny Alps community that we have that are way more knowledgeable than me. So I always usually try to defer to folks who know a hell of a lot more than me, like Carolus. So, really cool. But yeah, Alps are fun. So, definitely recommend people explore them and get into them. They're a lot of fun. So, we're just soldering in some of these side pieces right here just to kind of hold everything in for alignment. Awesome. Alright, let's go into this top corner right here and get these ones in. Perfect. Awesome. Oh, I just realized I had to remove one of these switches. So I'm putting one of the set I'm putting in here is going to have a big ass enter. I need to like remove my / button because I'm not using that. That's not going to be utilized on this particular board. I'll put it in the spacebar area. There we go. So yeah, we'll get a big ass enter. And when the keycaps come in, I will definitely show everyone what the heck it looks like. So we're going with an FK 2001. So board I really like. And the keycaps I really enjoy using. So there we go. Now we're better. Awesome. Just soldering this board in, everybody. Awesome. Just going on the side, everybody, and then we'll test these switches really quick. Nice. Awesome, awesome. Got that side done. Alright, those sides are down. Let me just do my space bar, and then we should be good to like do some testing. Just making sure everything is seated really quick. Give me a second. Awesome. Yeah, we're having some fun here, everybody. Just kind of going through. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm going to stop soldering here. I want to test these switches here really quick. So, again, this keycap set that will go on here when I get it will have a big S enter. So that's why I just kind of took out that slash button right there. So we're not going to be utilizing that one right there. But again, we just kind of have everything kind of held in, which is really kind of cool. Really like it. So sweet. Awesome. So let's, I want to open up VIA really quick, and then I want to do some testing on this one really quick. So there we go. So yeah, these Steezy PCBs do come with RGB backlight. I usually just turn it off once they get the build together, because realistically, am I ever going to use it? No. So that's like the great thing about it. Awesome. So let's just go to my keycap tester. Escape is good. Tab is good. Awesome. Ah, caps lock doesn't work. It's okay. Awesome. We're good there. So I'm going to just do a couple things on my key map really quick. And there we go. Cool. All right. So caps lock doesn't work. So we're going to desolder that one and put on, we're going to swap out a switch. We're going to go to a new switch plate in that one. So yeah, kind of bummed caps lock doesn't work. It's okay. So let me get my desolder gun out and we'll go from there. So get to see my tool. That's a freaking workhorse. Freaking love this thing. So there we go. So we got my Hakko FR301. If you're getting into solder boards, definitely pick one up. They are not cheap, but they make life so much easier when you're working on these solder boards, especially when you're like, if you need to harvest switches. Whether you're harvesting Alps, you're harvesting old cherry switches, it just makes my life like 1,000 times easier. I got to put a new filter in this thing before we get going. So, hey, what's up, Niku? So, what's up, dog? So, we're just we're doing a Frog Mini Passante. So, oh my god, this thing is so freaking heavy. We're doing this chunk. So, we got the Frog Mini Passante I got in from Gion today. So, we're literally just soldering in the switches. I don't have the keycaps just yet, but this is a really, really absurd board. I weighed this thing. This thing weighs like 7 pounds. So like weighs between like 2 and 3 kilos. It's like ridiculous. Like this case is solid brass and the weight is stainless steel. So like this is just like going to be like my FU board when I take it to meets. Like it is absurdly heavy. So I am all for it. So we're just putting in a new filter for my Hakko FR301 really quick. So as we got to desolder a switch so we can swap out the switch plate, because the switch plate is no good on it. So got that one going in. Awesome. Got that. And then we're going to plug this board in, and then we'll get it fired up, everybody. So again, this should be a relatively quick stream. I'd say, no, I don't know, probably a little over an hour. Again, we're not doing keycaps today. I literally just want to do this internal assembly and then mount it in the keyboard. But yeah, this is a really cool. So we're using yellow linear Alps here. So these switches are from the 1980s. So really, really cool switch. But we got that caps lock has a faulty switch plate. So let me fire up the FR301. Make sure my temperature is dialed in. So give that a second to kind of warm up, and then we'll get going. So. Oh yeah, it's all brass, dude. This thing is not cheap. This is a B stock unit. So while the FR301's heating up, it's kind of crazy. So it's gummy O-ring or tray mount. It comes with the Yeah. Oh, dude, I have my H2H. It's sitting on my wall of keyboards. I'm waiting for Dynacap to properly build that thing out, and I want to put GMK Norse on mine. So I have my H2H. I mean, I also got my Dolphin Max. I built that yesterday on stream. VODs on my YouTube channel. So we're just again messing around with the Passante today, but this thing is absurdly heavy. It's ridiculous, and I absolutely love it. And it's gonna be like just kind of an over the top, insane Alps build when it's done. So let's get. Oops, sorry about that. Let's make sure I'm desoldering the right switch. There we go. You can hear that puppy. Yeah, you are. So, Niku, you are correct, but like, and I do have OEM parts, but like, I'm also stupid, and I want Dynacap, and I want GMK on it, so I don't know. Like, and I also have like OEM like HHKBs, like, so it's fine, but like I really want one to use Dynacap. I bought the H2H with the exception to have to use Dynacap, and I also have a Show 60 V3 that's also waiting for Dynacap. So those are gonna be my two like of my Topre builds to be my Dynacap builds. So so it's like I'm not hurting for Topre. I got other Topre boards. So Oh, don't tell me that. Well, that's why I have actual proper Topre. So, give me a second. Let me just... Alright. Give me a second. That should be good. Alright. Alright, DCS. Good to know. So, good to know. But yeah, I'll do Dynacap. We'll definitely try it out. Yeah, but Dynacap should be fun. So I'm excited for the project. I mean, what Clever is doing with OmniType, the guys at OmniType, I think is really cool. So, all right, there's a switch. So we'll kind of disassemble this Alps switch and kind of show y'all what the heck is going on with it. Let me just desolder these pins. I tried. Oh, yeah, good to know. All right. There we go. All right, we're going to disassemble this switch, and we're going to get a new switch plate. So, give me a second. There we go. We're going to get a new switch plate for this one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got my H2H relatively quickly. When it just showed up on my doorstep, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's here. So, good times, everybody. Good times. So, yeah, we're putting in a new switch plate on this one. So I can kind of break down how Alps switches are built, which is really nice. So give me a second. Yeah, dude, Oblatsky's dope, dude. As an American, he's usually my go-to GMK vendor, which is really nice. So Oblatsky, much love to Oblatsky and our friends over in Europe. He's a dope vendor, and I have no problem ever like always utilizing him or recommending Oblatsky. He's freaking dope. Awesome. Let's put these in. Alright, so we got a new switch plate because this one is faulty. So, I'll show you on the Alps builds. Again, this is the switch plate. This is the part that the slider will make contact with, sending the signal. These are just like 40-plus-year-old switches, so sometimes these corrode and just give out. So that's why I just have a ton of them on hand. I have more on the way, just to make sure that again, like, I'm not killing switches unnecessarily. So it's just old parts. So we're gonna put this back in, and that should solve our problems. So let's solder this board. Let's solder that switch in, and then we should be going in. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's just kind of how importing crap works, unfortunately. So, but hey man, when it comes to GMK shit, you guys usually get it first because Oblatsky is literally in Germany. So I always am jealous of people who order GMK sets through Oblatsky. Actually, I got lucky. I ordered my GMK Verdant Retro through Oblatsky, and I got mine before like anyone in the United States because Oblatsky got it like first from GMK, and then I was posting my Verdant Retro set, and people said, "How the hell did you get that?" I'm like, "I ordered Oblatsky, man." So, and it wasn't that much more if I had ordered through like Novel Keys or like another U.S. vendor. So, pretty good. But yeah, I'm like really excited for just Dynacap and just kind of trying it out. But let's just plug this board back in. I just want to see if my caps lock is good to go. Caps lock is good to go. Hell yeah. All of our switches are good. Awesome. We are good here. Let's just minimize it. Perfect. Yeah. So, yeah, Dynacap's going to be cool. So let's unplug that and insert some more switches just to kind of get things going. So, yeah, we're using yellow linear Alps. So, Alps are pretty dope. I freaking love them. So, I mean, I recommend most people, if you're interested in Alps, please get into them. They're awesome. Depending on where you are in the world, like certain Alps, it's going to determine what switches you find. Like, for example, like one switch I really love are orange Alps. Here in the United States, I can find orange Alps all day, but I've known some folks who are over in Europe. They kind of struggle finding orange Alps because they're just kind of more obscure. So some switches that are rare for me may not be rare in other parts of the world. So yellow Alps, I've been having trouble kind of finding them. And when I do find them, they are kind of expensive. So I'm really kind of looking forward to kind of finding other Alps that are a little less crazy in terms of price. So we'll do the bottom row and then we'll do my number row here. Just to kind of have the perimeter of the board going. Oh yeah, dude, I love... yeah, Dynacap I think will be a really cool project. I'm really excited to see those finally come out. I know the Blue Ridge board from Clever is going to be using Dynacap, and I think the Blue Ridge is supposed to deliver next month. And I think Clever said once the Blue Ridge boards are delivered to the Group Buy customers, then they'll start shipping out they'll start selling and shipping Dynacap. So I'm really excited. On launch day, I want to pick up 2 Dynacap kits. So I know OmniType is our USA vendor. God damn it, my stream is hating me right now. So, well, yeah, sorry, my stream hates me, guys. So there we go. My stream just cut out. Awful. I was like, we were having so much good progress, and then it cut out. I'm sorry, friends. Curse my internet. Well, it's okay, everybody. We'll get it done. So, all right, we're gonna solder these in. We're gonna take away the solder gun for a minute. Ow, that hurt. Let's plug that in. Yeah, my stream hates me. I hate it. It's awful. God, my internet's awful. Awful internet. Bad internet. So, all right, we're going to solder in this bottom row and then my number row, folks. Again, this is a relatively quick stream. So, yeah, stream hates me, guys. I know. Internet, curse you. Curse you, Spectrum. Nice. Yeah, we're just doing this. Holy shite. Hi, friends. Hello. I don't know why my stream got cut out, but internet hates me. We're just soldering a board here that's going to be using Alps. Relatively quick build today, folks. Nothing too crazy. So, I don't know. I'm doing an Alps build. I'm saying it's going to be quick. I'm like, that's an oxymoron. I don't know. I learned with my time doing Alps builds, these things are never simple. They're always a pain in the butt. But that's kind of the fun of Alps. But yeah, anyone's interested in an Alps build, let me know. Like, I do custom commissions. So if you want an Alps build for your collection or you have a board that could be converted to Alps, let me know. We could build an internal assembly. So one thing I've also done in terms of custom commissions for people, if someone has a board that can be converted to Alps, I usually will just build the internal assembly and then mail that assembly. And then the client... yeah. I mean... Yo, I got Careless on here. What the frick, man? Hi, Careless. I mean, all boards should be converted to Alps. I absolutely agree. But like I said, I also do like my Cherry MX builds. I mean, hey, I'll turn my vent off. I mean, I built this monstrosity yesterday. So, like, this thing is all Cherry MX. But I don't know, Careless, you should maybe make a plate or a PCB for this monstrosity. So, this is a dope board. I mean, I do need a full-size custom Alps board. I know, like, the Dyno 10... I know you have a plate for, like, the Dyno. The Fossil. So, who knows? Maybe I'll get a Fossil one day so I can have a full-size. But, I don't know. If I do, like, a custom full-size, I want it to be, like, neon green Alps. So, be, like, my true endgame. Like, I will do a neon green Alps build eventually, but I want to build Alps boards, modern Alps builds with all the other Alps switches, and then have, like, neon greens be, like, my true final endgame personal Alps build. Because, like, if I do a neon green Alps build, it will be ridiculously expensive. Probably the most expensive board I'll ever buy for myself. And most of the cost will be in switches, which is ridiculous. So, But yeah, it's super cool. So yeah, we're just doing a Yellow Alps build here today, folks. So it's going in the Gion Frog Mini Passante. I wish Finley was my last name. It's not, but I don't know. It's just the username I've had. It's my old gamer tag. I've had the username for like 15 years. It just I was just too lazy to change it. So that's just me. So I have the username just out of sheer laziness. So because I'm about working smarter and not harder, and I already had the existing username, so I'm not going to change it. So. But like I said, it's a fun time, everybody. Alps are super sick, so I really enjoy doing them. So, but yeah, also huge shout out to Careless. Careless is like the MVP when it comes to like Alps stuff and just, I don't know, just keyboard stuff in general. So, much, we need more people like Careless in the hobby. So, alright. Yeah, we're just putting these switches in again, and then so this build is going to get a set of FK 2001 keycaps, but I do have a set of FK 2001 keycaps that I could put on this in the meantime, but I ordered a specific set that's going to ship probably in the next 2 weeks. I got them off a user on eBay, but they already communicate with me. They're not going to be able to ship because they're on vacation for like another week and a half. So once that board ships, and I'll again rip those keycaps off and put them on this board. I might just pull out my other FK 2001 keycaps and just kind of let it temporarily sit on there for the time being. But overall, this is a fun build. Like again, I'm really enjoying kind of doing other things within the Alps, just kind of within the Alps space, doing like custom commissions, also help coordinating different things for like upcoming group buys, which is really cool. So it's been a lot of fun. So definitely have some ideas for other boards to kind of convert to Alps, because like why not? As Careless said, all boards should be converted to Alps, and I absolutely agree with that. So all right, there we go. We got it. All right, so yeah, this is a relatively simple build today. Again, this is going in the Frog Mini Passante. So this, oh my god, this thing is ridiculous. So I got this in today. So I think I have the entire Frog lineup from Gion, but I saw this dropped like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, yeah. So I can kind of give a little bit of an overview of just Alps in general. So just kind of a little background on Alps. So Alps were produced by a company called Alps Electric from about the 1970s to about the early 2000s. And during the 1980s and 1990s, they were the direct and biggest competitor of Cherry. And again, Alps had contracts with like HP, IBM, Apple, and a ton of other tech companies that were producing personal computers and keyboards. But as we get into the 1990s, Alps really kind of saw changes in the market. By the time you get to the 1990s, early 2000s, people are shifting away from mechanical keyboards because one, they're expensive, and two, they're really, really loud. And back in the day, these keyboards were designed to be in businesses, to be in schools. They were tools. And you don't want something that's ridiculously loud. So membrane keyboards were coming on the market. They were really cheap and they were really quiet. And by the time you get to the early 2000s, Alps Electric just kind of realized it wasn't worth it to be in the mechanical keyboard space anymore, so they sold off their mechanical keyboard division. Now, Alps Electric is still around. They're a Japanese company, but they primarily focus on the enterprise electronic side. They really don't dabble in consumer electronics anymore. And it's really kind of a shame because Alps are awesome. So now, one thing about Alps, the license for Alps switches was actually sold and bought by a company called Matthias, and they're based out of Canada, and they still produce new production Alps switches. They produce a linear, a clicky, and a tactile. Matthias switches are really good, but they get you like 80 to 90% of the way there. If you're going to go an Alps build, I really recommend going with OG Alps switches. And also reach out. There's some really good places on the internet to get information and knowledge about Alps. Careless is a person who's on my stream right now. Careless runs a website called carolingian.com, and he has his own Discord server. The people within that Discord server are extremely knowledgeable on like what boards are compatible, where you can get parts. Careless is an excellent resource for getting like PCBs, plates, kind of helping guide you through. And some of the other people in the server, Careless has even said, know more than he does. And that's where I've gotten most of my knowledge. Another really great resource on the internet to kind of learn about Alps is a YouTube channel called Shirasan. Shirasan, if I'm probably not pronouncing it, but again, he's a guy based over in Europe, and he has a really amazing vintage keyboard collection, and he has most of the keyboards that were made that used Alps switches. So if you look into some of his videos, they're very informative, very educational, and gives you a lot of history. But he primarily focuses on the vintage boards, whereas I'm more interested in modern boards that have Alps. And the way you get Alps switches is you have to find old keyboards, like old IBM keyboards, HP keyboards, old laptops, or Apple keyboards that have Alps switches. You need to desolder those switches and then, again, restore those switches so they can be put into these modern keyboards. One thing about Alps, people are kind of turned off. They use their own PCB design. They use their own plate designs. There's no compatibility between Alps and Cherry MX. Now, certain PCBs will have the kind of solder holes for both Cherry MX and also Alps. So be kind of on the lookout. Like a TGR Tomo has the solder PCB supports both Cherry MX and Alps switches. The other thing as well too, Alps are very much a labor of love. So if you're going to go through the process, if you find a board that has Alps switches, it's most likely going to be very well used and pretty clapped. I found boards that have their own ecosystems. They may have dead bugs in them. They have food on them. These boards were, again, used and abused for a very long time. That's kind of the big thing about, again, these old keyboards. So you're probably going to have to put in some work to restore those switches. So what I usually do when the switches are desoldered, I usually tear the switches apart to their individual components, and I ultrasonic clean all of those switches, and then I let them dry and then reassemble them. In that case, they're pretty good to get back into kind of like new condition. So overall, the process of Alps is pretty interesting, but they are a lot of work. So that's like one thing I do. I do custom commissions. So if someone wants an Alps build, whether it be in like a 60% or a TKL or something else, yeah, hey, like I can do all the work for you, assemble the board, and then send it off to you. Yes, I do use RO59. It depends on how I'm feeling, Careless. Like if I'm feeling lazy, I'm not gonna do it. But if I want to put in the effort to put RO59, I will. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Most of the times I am lazy and I don't. But I mean, for a lot of my personal builds, I normally do. It just really just kind of depends. Also for the client commission builds, I ask the client if they want to or not, and I usually would charge extra for that because that does take time to lube the sliders. So let me just test this top row. These switches I just installed. Windows key is good. Alt is good. Windows is good. Okay, Alt. Ah, crap! I got a bad switch plate on my window. Oh, it's my modifier key. Never mind. All right, we're good. All right, my number 1 is bad. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, 5 is bad. All right, we got some bad switch plates. Oh man, we got 4 dead switch plates on this number row up here. Dang. All right, so we gotta swap out some switch plates in here. So I got Careless. I took your, well, tells you how clumsy I am. I just dropped a bunch of switch plates on stuff. So I got some switch plates from some switches I had a major excess of. So we're using switch plates from white clicky Alps to kind of put in there, and they've been doing a great job in swapping out dead switch plates. So. And Careless, I just ordered a bunch of board. I just kind of looked for some deals on eBay and ordered like 6 or 7 or 8 boards that are coming in. One will have brown Alps, which is finally nice. I'm getting my hands on brown Alps, and I know I'm probably gonna get some cream linear Alps off of you, Careless, which will be pretty dope if that all works out. And I got a bunch of other just like common Alps. I'm mainly just getting them for parts because I need switch plates. Again, I keep running into switches that have dead switch plates, so this is just going to help build my stockpile of dead switches. Because the switch plates is what's kind of coming up. Oh, well, yeah, I really don't ultrasonic clean the switch plates, and that's what's kind of weird. I just been getting a lot of dead switch plates, which is just kind of an unusual thing. So we'll see. It's not. I usually do ultrasonic clean like the like tactile or the click leaf and the springs, just because they're just so disgusting. But I usually don't ultrasonic clean these things. But who knows? Oh, dude, those SKC those creams are gonna go into a really sick build. Trust me, they're probably gonna go. Those SKCL creams are probably gonna go in like I'm eventually going to, I want to track down an F284 or an F188. So they are going to go in a TKL, and I don't want to put them in a 60%. Now, I know I also do eventually want to, I think my SKCM creams that I got from you, those are going to go in my GSK T00 with the IBM 5140 caps. So really cool. So let me pull out the desolder gun. So yeah, we got a lot of, again, I got a ton of Alps builds coming up, and it's just never ending. So, oh yeah, dude. Yeah, those are going in TKLs. I wanted to put the yellow, I thought about putting these yellows in like a TKL, and I'm like, I'd rather, I don't know, like I'd rather just put them in a 60%, and I'd rather have it go in like the most ridiculous 60%, if I'm going to be completely honest. So it's pretty good. So we got to desolder some of these numbers. So let me just kind of move my switch tester over just so we can get those. There we go. So we have my number 1, 5, 7, and then my hyphen has to get desoldered. So there we go. I got the Hacko going. So I know I didn't get those yellows. I got these from a ZKB2 that I harvested, that I got off eBay like 2 months ago, which I've been really hard pressed to find yellow Alps. So when I saw the ZKB2 with yellow Alps, I just said, screw it. I just bought it. I had no use for the yellow Alps at the time, so I've just been holding on these yellow Alps for like 2 months because they've been kind of a pain in the ass to find. Like there's one board on eBay with yellow Alps listed, but the guy wants like $500 freaking dollars for it, and I'm like, no. So yeah. All right, there's that one. All right, my other one, I need to go number 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. Okay, number 5. We got number 7. Yeah. It's weird, dude, because like I do want more yellow Alps. One of the users in your Discord server, Careless, he was telling me that he has a connect to get some like new old stock yellow Alps. So I'm definitely gonna hit him up, probably after summer, to get some yellow Alps from him, which would be really cool. So like I'm not in a rush to look for them. So we got my 7, and then we just need my hyphen right there, and then we'll swap out the switch plates, and then we should be good to go. Alright, cool. I got those. So yeah, it should be fine. But yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, we just got to pull those out and then just swap out the switch plates. So like I said, Careless, like I ordered a couple of, and there's like 7 or 8 boards that I have coming. Like I got a lot of these boards just because I like the keycaps and also the switches. Just to kind of build up certain stockpiles of certain types of switches. But I got a couple boards with the expressed interest of harvesting them for switch plates, because I'm just especially with like green linear Alps, I'm seeing a high fill rate of switch plates, and those are switch plates I didn't ultrasonic clean. So that's just something that's just kind of really interesting, and it's been frustrating for me, is like what the heck is going on with my linear green Alps. So yeah. Oh yeah, dude, the SKCLs are dope, dude. I don't know why people don't like linear Alps. Like I know, like I mean, I do love, like I can't wait to try brown Alps. Like, I'm stoked for the brown Alps. Because the brown Alps, I told you, I need one more 5140. I'll probably buy it later in the fall. But I want to put brown Alps in my QFRL 100. That's the board you helped out, that you designed the Alps plate for. Because I want to put brown Alps in a special board. And I figured it needs to go in a big board. And again, that board, I want to use the Apple keycap. So it's going to be a QFRL 100 with brown Alps and Apple extended keycap. So that's going to be a really cool build. But again, like brown Alps, like especially when I'm starting to get into some of the rarer switches, I want to put them in special boards. So like I pretty much have the last 60. I pretty much have all the 60% that you've made plates for, like which is really cool. So like it's kind of nice too, because a lot of my client commissions have been 60%. So it's kind of nice being able to showcase like a build on hand that I have for my personal collection using the 60%. So that's really, really nice. But yeah, we're pulling out this bad switch plate right here. So, but yeah, so like I'll probably have a few hundred switch plates on hand just to kind of make life a little bit easier as we kind of go through. So, yeah, and I also swapped out all those SKCL green switches. I swapped out all those ones that had dead switch plates. I spent the day going through and putting in new switch plates in those. So my SKCL stockpile should be pretty good. I got stocked up on SKCL greens and then SKCM orange switches because of the client commissions I've been doing. Green and orange Alps have been the two most popular switches. So I just figured I might as well get a metric crapload of those and just kind of just have them on hand. So like I have an ungodly amount of green and orange Alps on hand. It's crazy. So I mean, so it's just kind of nice. But yeah, I'm like sitting on like a pretty much a horde of Alps switches. So it's just kind of crazy. So, but like I said, with hoping to do more client commissions for people, I have one client commissions over at my Cerakote guy. I have one other guy who's mailing me a Frog TKL, a bunch of stuff that should come next week. And then I have a client who wants a Gian Frog Mini internal assembly. He's going to be paying me on Friday, and then we'll get that build kind of going. Yeah. So I really would like to do browns. My issue is like even with like this, the client who built 3 boards with me, like he didn't want browns. I asked him if he wanted browns because the guy had the money for brown Alps, and he said no. So I haven't had anyone request like super high end switches. Like Ambers or SKCL creams or like SKCM creams, like any of like the more expensive switches. I haven't had any clients specifically request those. I always tell the clients when like they reach out, like asking about switch types, and I kind of recommend more of the common ones just because those are more wallet friendly. But if a client explicitly asks like, hey, I want like browns, or like if someone's really crazy and says, oh, I want neon greens, I'm like, I would do it, but I would just tell them like, you got to pay for it because it ain't gonna be cheap. I mean, there's a reason I only just got like SKCL creams through you, and I just got a set of SKCM browns. They're just so freaking expensive. Like they're probably the most expensive switches I've gotten to date. I mean, that's until eventually I build maybe in like a year or two a neon green Alps build. I do plan on doing one, but I want to build all my other Alps builds that I want to do and have that be like my true end game. So yeah, the browns are cool. I'm really excited for my brown build. Like again, the QFRL we're probably not going to see. I think the Bloody Yez is trying to sell it like September, October of this year, so after summer. And then I'm assuming we'll see fulfillment probably like Q2 of 2026. So like I got several months to get a good number of brown Alps for that particular build because I'm going to need about 100 of them to do that like FRL, that full-size FRL. Which is going to be super sick. So I'm really excited for that board. But again, that QFRL 100 is going to get some special switches and some really special keycaps. And again, like a huge thank you, Careless, for like what you did for that plate project. Like that's going to be a really cool board. And I mean, he's working on pretty much all of his boards that he's working on in development are going to have the solder PCBs that support Cherry MX and Alps. So definitely going to shoot him your way in the future if he needs another Alps plate. And it's kind of cool. Like he really wanted to give you credit. That's why it was really cool. We were able to put your logo like loud and proud on that plate file. So the people who order Alps plates for that board are going to be able to see like to be able to learn who you are and learn hopefully give you even more business, which is going to be cool. So I'm really happy we were able to put your like logo on there loud and proud to give you proper credit for that because that plate is 100% you. So, which is like super super sick. So, really really awesome board. So yeah, it's really cool. So let me test these switch plates, and I think we should be good. So yeah, so that's super, super sick. Well, I know, too, sometimes, like, some people don't get proper credit in projects, which is kind of irritating. Okay, those are good. 5 is good. 6, 7 is good. And then my hyphen is good. That one's... Switch plate I still got a bad switch plate on that one. All right, well, just put another one in. That's how we do it. It's all good. That number 1 is still being weird. So... It would help if I plugged it. Is it plugged in? Oh, it's warming up. That would help. It would help if it was like proper temperature. But yeah, also I think a careless like I don't know, like a week ago, someone was talking about this tool and how expensive it was, and like I think you chimed in like you can't imagine working on keyboards without this stinking thing. I'm like I completely agree with you. This tool wasn't cheap, but like especially since I got into Alps, like this thing makes life like 1,000 times easier. So. Alright, let's pull this one out and let's get another switch plate in this one. Come on. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I don't got any diodes off this one. The one thing I do love about this board, he put all the diodes together, which I think is super sick, instead of putting them like over each of them. So like, yeah, huge shout out to Apple T. Like this is a dope. I love these steezy PCBs, and I plan on getting like Apple T is currently out of stock on them, but he said he's gonna get a restock of them after summer. So I told him I'll probably be ordering a decently sized order. And I mean, same with you, Careless. Probably in September, doing like my proper big order of those TKL PCBs, because I got a lot of builds. I got a lot of builds in the works, and then also too, we got those 2 Frog TKLs that I got on hand. We're gonna be building too, so those are gonna be sick. The 8K TKL is gonna be so freaking awesome. All right, let's just pull these through really quick. All right, let's try soldering that in again. Oh, dude, that's sick, dude. That's so cool. I'm jealous, dude. Dude, I love arcades. I went to San Diego Comic-Con, what is it, like a week and a half ago? Like end of July, and it was super sick because they had like an esports arena set up, which was like super awesome. That's where I like got to talk with some people in like the tech space, which was really cool. Like I got to meet like Jay's 2 Cents and like the guys over at Be Quiet and other people in like the keyboard hobby, which is really cool. So it's nice being able to show people builds. All right, we are good. Our 1 is good. All right, our number is done. Awesome. We good. All right, let's put in our next set of switches. Hopefully we don't have more switches take a dump on me. So we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna get an FK 2001 set on this when it comes. The FK 2001 set, I was looking for an FK 2001 that had a full right shift. So I found it because like the FK 2001 sets that I have don't have full right shift. And also I wanted to find one that that had not necessarily Windows keys, but had keys where the Win keyless blockers were. So I found one that had keys in the Windows where the Windows keys go. It had a big ass enter, and it had a full right shift, which is super cool. I do like full right shift. I'm kind of weird. I've also I did 2 commission builds for 60% that used FK 2001 sets. That had the split right shift. So what I did, the clients wanted full right shift. So I had some Dell AT101W sets. I really don't have any use for those keycap sets, but they have full right shift, and I color matched them, and I'm like, huh, they work. So I put so they have FK 2001 keycaps, and then their right shift is a Dell AT101W. Because I really don't use the AT101W because the bottom row uses a 6.25U spacebar and the 1.25 modifiers, and I'd rather have like a 7U spacebar with like the 1.5 modifiers, especially if I can go Win keyless. Oh, dude. I mean, I only have like one more FK. I only have like 3 FK 2001 like split ships. I mean, shit. If you want to trade, yeah, I'm down to like mail you like my 3 split right shifts and / FK 2001s. If you want to just Oh, dude, I have like a metric. Yeah, dude, if you have some, like, let me know. We can talk further on Discord. Because, like, also, if you guys were stabs, I have a metric shitload of Alps stab parts. Like, when I harvest boards, I save all the stab parts. So, like, and I also have, like, a shitload of Taihao parts as well. So, like, no, I'm good on Alps stabs, dude. I have, like, a metric crap load. Yeah, yeah, let me know, Careless. Like, when I get off stream, like, I may either tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, dude, I can definitely give you some split right shifts, and so it's the split right shift with that with the slash that normally goes here like above the enter. I have 3. I think I have 2 sets of those. Shit, yeah, I have 2 sets. I gave the rest of one of the sets to the guy I sold the keyboard to. So I should have 2 of those split right shift sets for an FK 2001 set. So if you want those, oh, dude, I have a metric shitload of 2.75U stabs. The 7U stabs are a bitch to track down. I'm always annoyed by that, so I'm with you on that one, but I have a metric crap load of those. Yeah, dude, I'm definitely down to, like, when you mail up my Pro AT. Also, did that HP Vectra guy end up buying it? Because, again, like, I keep bugging you. I'm like, if he doesn't buy it, I will definitely take that off your hands, too, so. But if not, that's okay. I'm not in a rush to buy an HP Vectra, but I do need one eventually. He is still oh my god, how are you that indecisive? That is such a cool board. The switches are so cool, and the keycaps are badass. How, like, I would like that's like a no-brainer buy, at least in my opinion. But yeah, again, like I said, like for sure I'll do that Pro AT, and again we can kind of hold off on our Pro AT deal. I really want to see if that Vectra goes out, but like I said, Careless, I also want to be fair. So like I'll give that guy first dibs. Like, and again, if it takes him a week to make up his damn mind, sure, I don't care. Like, I'm not in a rush, but like for sure I'll do the Pro AT. What the frick? Super price sensitive, bro. I don't know. I know this is just me venting, Careless. I think your prices are more than fair. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and most of the stuff I bought from you has you've either done me a solid by going under the price, or like you just do it what you paid for it. Like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't try to be like the price you showed me for that Vectra. I would not try to haggle you down. Like, is that such a fair price? Because I've seen them go for so much more than that. Like, it's kind of crazy what those Vectras go for. And I know it's everyone wants they're rare for vintage computing, but people also like them for the switches and keycaps. So, I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to haggle you, dude. Just like the price that is being asked for that board is super sick. So I figure I'm just gonna put the whole thing in and figure out what switches are dead and not dead, and we'll just kind of go from there. But yeah, there we go. We got a yellow Alps assembly. Let me bring out the Passante. Yeah, so it's crazy, but yeah, but basically we're going with the Frog Mini Passante. I'll just kind of drop it in here carefully so I don't scratch anything. But oops, there we go. Give me a second. This thing is just kind of crazy, but yeah, that's how it's gonna go in. And it's gonna look super sick. So it's gonna be a gummy O-ring mount on this one. So let me just kind of pull this thing out carefully. Let me just kind of. This thing is like absurd. This case is like ridiculously heavy. So actually, let's do a test fit. This is my first gummy O-ring. Give me a second. Where's my gummy O-ring? There we are. So this is my first gummy O-ring. Oh yeah, it's still decent money. So I mean, it's not cheap, but it's also not like trying to find like the board that has like the neon green Alps, which is also like just insane to me. So yeah, this is a gummy O-ring board, which is super sick. I really like this as a gummy O-ring mount. So super cool. So. Let's see how this one shapes up. Let's try my gummy O-ring. Yeah, I may have to shave that down. It's okay. Oh, that looks sick. Awesome. Look at that. Oh, that's going to be so cool, dude. Like, look at that. So I'm just doing that test fit and that gummy O-ring. So it's going to be gummy O-ring mounted pretty much in this. So it's going to be super awesome. So, like, I am stoked to get this thing going. So let me pull it out now. There we go. Yeah, so. And I'll also tell you too, Careless, with this particular board, I'm probably going to put some foam in here at the bottom. I'm not a big fan of foam. I just don't want shit shorting. So, yeah. Yeah, this thing's going to weigh like 10 pounds when it's done. For a 60%, that's absolutely ridiculous. So, but yeah, it's going to look super sick. Let me take this O-ring off, and then we'll get this thing fully put together again. There we go. But yeah, super sick board. I figured, oh, even better. I'll just put tape. I'll just tape mod it. Put tape on the back. Because yeah, considering this isn't like a proper like, it's not like screw tray mounted in. I want something to prevent. I'll just probably just put some like painter's tape on the back of the PCB just to prevent shorting. This is my first build. I'm genuinely worried about shorting. So, all right, let's take my solder gun away and let's. Ooh, cotton too. I'll do that too. That would be nice. So, yeah, we're just doing it again. Thanks everybody who is on here, just hanging out on the stream, chatting everybody. So, yeah, we're gonna do again our alpha clusters here, and then we're gonna just kind of go through and test and figure out which switches gotta be swapped out for switch plates. So, pretty good stuff. Alright, solder these puppies in. Awesome. Yeah, so we're just kind of going through. Awesome. Got those center ports going. So yeah, we're just mainly doing our alphas here. And then we're going to kind of see how this one shapes up. Looking good. Yeah, making pretty quick work of these solder PCBs, so that's pretty good. Going through our alphas right here. Awesome. Yeah, we're just kind of going through. Cool. All right, we got our first alpha row done, so that's looking pretty good. So we got 2 more rows, and then I'm basically going to go through and test and figure out what switches need new switch plates. Because we're going to have some, quite a few, I think. But that's why, again, I will have a nice healthy stockpile of switch plates. But yeah, we're looking pretty good on this one. Yep. Alright, just kind of going through. Awesome. Looking good. Oh yeah, also fun fact for Careless, Keeb Life is next month here in LA, and I'm pretty much only taking Alps builds, so I'll have like pretty much all my 60% done. I'll have the 2 frog builds put together, and of course I'll have my like 722 and like F18X. But like I plan on being the Alps guy at Keeb Life, like one of the biggest keyboard meets in the country, at least here in the United States. So it'll be really kind of cool, like showing people like some really cool Alps builds. And again, I'm not putting Alps in like tofus, even though I love the tofu. Dude, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like Keeb Life will be really cool. I'm really excited for Keeb Life. I almost got the opportunity to be a vendor and basically just showcase my Alps builds, but I said like, I'm okay. I'm good just as a general table with everyone else. But it'll be really nice kind of talking with people and kind of showing them the light with Alps. I was the Alps guy at the Divinity meet back in June, which was really cool. And I think I don't know if I've shared before, but like I'm working with the Divinity guys to have a commission Alps build for them as well, which would be really cool. So their CEO wants me to convert a Kala TKL to Alps. So, oh dude, I can't wait, dude. And it's cool too because like a lot of the MX folks, like they think like, I don't know, not to be mean, but like it's a lot of work. Like some high-end custom MX builds, like especially like the solder boards, can be a lot of work. But like I tell people, like Alps, like just kind of blow that level of work out of the water. There's so much that goes into the Alps build, especially if you're doing the restoration process of the switches and things like that. So it's going to be a really, really fun opportunity, man. I know, Carlos, you're based on the East Coast, but I don't know, man. It'd be really cool if we could ever get you out here for a Keeb Life one of these years. I know Philly's doing a keyboard meet in August. It'd be cool. I don't know if are you going to the Philly Keeb meet? I know they're trying to do one like the first or like I don't know in a few days or something like that. So, oh dude, you'd have a blast at Keeb Life. Like it's cool too because like we have people from like a lot of the big social media places like Teja came out, Andy Wynn comes out for it. I think one year they had Hippio, which I mean, some people have kind of mixed feelings on Hippio, but it was just kind of cool, like having people in like the social media space, like a bunch of major vendors, like OmniType was there, Canon Keys, Novel Keys, like a bunch of artists and designers were there. So, oh, cool. I mean, yeah, I saw the Philly Keyboard Meets Instagram page came up on my recommended. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, oh yeah, Carlos is over there. I'm like, it'd be cool. So, I mean, I hope a lot of people show up for that Philly meet. It'd be really kind of cool to. Because I saw pics from like the New York City meet, and like they had like a whole table full of freaking Kohakus, which I'm like, I mean, as an owner of a Kohaku, I don't bring my Kohaku to meets because, yes, it's a rare and expensive board, but when you go to keyboard meets, there's like 5 people who bring Kohakus, and it's just not that cool anymore. So, like, I mean, I'm glad I own a Kohaku, but I don't bring it to meets because, like, there's going to be 5 other people who bring one. Like, at the Divinity meet, there were, like, 6 Kohakus there, and, like, my point was taken when I didn't bring my Kohaku. As much as I love it, it's a sick board, and I'm glad I have it. I also did not pay aftermarket for it. All right, let's pull out my switch tester and let's see what switches I got to swap out switch plates. Who knows? Maybe not. All right, we're looking good so far. Let's hope I don't jinx it. All right, cool. This row is good. All live switches in here, which is awesome. Okay. I'm probably going to swap that Q. It's being really sluggish. I'm just going to swap it. I have a ton on hand. So let's go to the next row. All right. Okay, K is being sluggish as well. So we're going to... Oh, no, it's being fine. What the heck? Okay, A is bad. So Q, A, and then the letter K we're going to swap out in the second row. All right. B is good. N, I need to swap out M. Okay, I only got to swap out 4 switches. That is okay by my standards. So, that is okay. I'm just going to... Huh. Yeah, K we're going to do. Yeah, so we're doing Q, A, N, and then letter K. So that's pretty good. So, yeah. So, yeah, I know it's interesting. Yeah, but everyone brings their favorite to the meets. I mean, for a lot of people, the Kohaku is the favorite board they personally own, which I don't blame them. I love my Kohaku. It probably is of my... I wouldn't say my MX builds, but of my 65% boards, my Kohaku is my favorite 65%. Like, and I have a pretty cool selection of 65%. Like, I have a 910ME. Like, I have, like, the Mix 65. I have a Kohaku. I have a Boop. I have a Matrix Vita. I have a Matrix NOS on the way. Like, I got Darian's O2 65 coming. So, like, I have cool 65%. But, like, so of my 65s, the Kohaku's my favorite. Is it my favorite MX board? No. I have other boards that I think are just a lot cooler for me. So, I'm trying to think what is my favorite MX board. It'll probably be my Treeleaf 917. That's my F-Rollless TKL. Like, that board is just freaking sick and freaking gorgeous. So, let's desolder these 4 switches. Oh, it would help if it's fully warmed up. But like I said, like, I love my Kohaku, but I don't bother bringing it to meets anymore because, like I said, there's like 20 Kohaku. I mean, not 20, but, like, there's a lot of Kohakus at the meets. I mean, some meets have whole tables dedicated to people who bring Kohakus. So, even though it is a rare board and it's expensive, it's like when you go to the meets, there's always someone who's going to bring it. I'm not planning on getting a Manta in the group buy. I'm going to wait for extras or wait for them to pop up on Mech Market. I'm tied up in other projects right now, and I'm tied up. There's other group buys I want to do right now. So I'll wait for extras. I know they're going to have extras, and I know they're going to, as soon as people get them, they're going to pop up a Mech Market. So, like, I do want a Manta. I'm not getting one right now. So, like, but yeah, the long answer is yes, but in a while. I honestly, I don't know if I'm going to bring any Topre. I'm mainly just going to focus on Alps. I may bring a couple of my MX boards that are, like, more obscure and kind of cool to showcase. Like, my W70 is just so cool because of the lighting. But, like, other than that, like, I'm really just going to focus on Alps at Keep Life. Because the big thing I'm going to be doing at Keep Life, I want to basically be promoting, like, the custom commissions that I do. So I really want to see if I can get some more business, like, again, have some people do custom commissions from me, or just inspire people to do their own Alps builds. But, like, the big thing is I really want to see if I can pick up some commissions. And it makes it even better if people can see, like, the work I am capable of. Because I also know, like, Careless does, like, custom commissions. But, like, I also tell people with the custom Alps commissions, like, just be prepared. They are not cheap. Like, that's the only thing with the... I always just try to tell people with the custom Alps commissions is, like, be prepared to pay because they're not cheap. I mean, there are ways to bring the Alps cost down if you go with like one of the switches that's more common, like SKCM Black or like the white clicky Alps or like cream dampened, like because most of the cost is going to be in the switches. Like it's pretty easy to source the PCB, the plate. Like if you do like a tray mount 60, like a Tofu or a Lagera or like a Wooding case. Like I just did, like one of the commissions I just did, we did black. The guy was on a tight budget, so we did a tray mount 60. We did a 461E from KBD fans, and we did crap. What was it? And we did black Alps, and the build was like a little over $300. Which $300 is $300, but like considering like what some of my TKL builds, what I've charged clients for TKL builds, like that's pretty good. So, because I know the TKL, that's where if people want like the TKLs, like that's where it gets expensive. Like especially you want like a really nice TKL, like a Geon TKL, like an F18X, like yeah, that's where it gets expensive. Especially and also especially if you want to go like with the TKL, I'm also going to recommend like nice switch like orange or browns or something like that. So we're not going to do like cheap switches. I just took apart the wrong switch. Oops. So. Oh, I know. It's crazy, dude. Well, dude, here's the thing. I have, this is one of my personal gripes. Like, in the hobby, I don't bother with the budget stuff. Like, and honestly, I got in the hobby Q4 of 2023, and my very first board was a KBD Fans 8X Mark III. And from my perspective, that was like an air quote, entry level board. As I've progressed through the hobby, I realized some people, that is an end game keyboard. That's like, I mean, the board like altogether all built is like $300, but like I never started with like the super uber low end budget stuff. I immediately started with nice boards, and the only real budget board I have is a Test 65, and I literally just bought it because I'm friends with the guys at Divinity, and I wanted to support a project for a full aluminum board at $65. Hell yeah, sign me up. So like that's something that's really interesting. So, but like, I tell people with the boutique high-end end of the spectrum, like for example, I built this on stream yesterday. This is a $600+ keyboard right here. This is a Linworks Dolphin Max. Is this a mass market keyboard? Absolutely not. Is this for your average person in the keyboard hobby? No. Like the person I like to use as an example is Norbauer. Like Norbauer, it specifically tailors to the people in the keyboard hobby who want something high-end, bespoke, and very limited run in quality. So, like, his prices reflect that. He did a Topre TKL that was $4,000. I mean, so is that for everyone? No, but there is a segment of people who are willing to pay for that. It's like the same thing with cars. Like, can I afford a Porsche or like a McLaren or a Ferrari? Absolutely not. But there are people who that is exactly tailored for them as consumers and buyers. So that's the thing. So like like when it comes to keyboards, I'm really only interested in the high end stuff. Now, not to say the more entry level, affordable stuff isn't good. Like the people, like one example I love singing about is QWERTY Keys. The people at QWERTY Keys are doing some amazing things. How they are making their boards for the affordable prices that they are selling them is absolutely amazing. And we should be supporting people like that, making, again, boards that have that high-end custom feel and look, but at that entry-level price point. I think that's really good what QWERTY Keys is doing. And also, too, a lot of people, and also when you're talking about like the boutique high-end stuff, the only real way to get it is aftermarket on Mech Market, or you have to deal with the group buy model. And a lot of people who are especially more novice or nervous don't want to deal with group buys. And I absolutely understand that, but I also just tell people, especially people who are newer, if you want the really, really cool stuff in the hobby, you got to deal with group buys. That's just kind of the nature of the game. Like some of the most insane stuff in the hobby is going to be sold through a group buy model. And it just kind of is what it is, and it sucks. But that's just the nature of the game, unfortunately. Like the Linworks Dolphin Max, that full size I just showed. They only made it was only a run of about 150 boards, and it was a small run because one, they're ridiculously expensive, and also there's not that mass market appeal for full sizes. So that's kind of the really kind of difficult thing. Like I have 3 custom full sizes. I have a Matrix Labs 100NG, I have a Darien Works 925, and I have the Linworks Dolphin Max. All of those boards are north of $600 in terms of cost. So like high end, especially like high end custom full sizes, they're ridiculously expensive, and they pretty much the vast majority of the people in the hobby are priced out of them, which is unfortunate. But like, I know a lot of people clamor for full sizes, but when people say like, oh, we want full sizes in the custom space, they're then have heart attacks when they see the price point because they're so freaking expensive. Like, people just don't understand, like, full sizes are really expensive to make, and a lot of the manufacturers who do the group buys don't want to manufacture full sizes, and they charge accordingly. So that's like the kind of one sad and unfortunate and frustrating thing about it. So let me just solder these two switches in, and then we'll test those and then try the other two. So yeah, that was my TED Talk on people complaining about stuff being expensive. I'm like, or my rant, I guess. So, like, I just tell people, like, it's just, again, the high end stuff is not for you. It may not be for you, and that's fine. Like, again, not everyone wants a Porsche, and not everyone wants a McLaren. So, and on topic of McLaren, I will be building a McLaren themed keyboard, which is really cool. Luke over at Baron Boards is going to be sending his BP1 McLaren themed board, and I found out I might be able to convert it to Alps, which would be really cool. So I don't know, Careless. If Careless is still on, I might be reaching out to you, Careless, to build. Luke Barron is built. He has it's called a BP1. It's a McLaren P1 themed keyboard, which is really freaking cool. But it takes an H87 PCB. So I'm really thinking of maybe reaching out to Luke and getting the plate file and seeing like, hey, can we possibly make an Alps plate for it and make this McLaren keyboard orange Alps, which would be really, really sick. So I don't know, we'll see. But that's a cool board I'm going to review. Luke's trying to get it to group buy. He's just kind of navigating kind of the political BS of all the like tariffs and whatnot, because he said like if he makes it in the United States, it's going to cost like $1,000. If he makes it in China with tariffs, it's going to cost like $1,000. So he's just trying to figure out what's like the most economical way to sell the board. He knows he's not going to sell a lot. And Luke told me like, hey, if like the group buy doesn't pan out, he said he'd let me buy like one of the prototypes because he has 3 prototypes on hand. So I'm like, cool, let me buy a prototype if it doesn't work. So Luke's going to let me keep the prototype for about, I'd say like 2 or 3 weeks because I got some pretty crazy crap I want to do with it. Like, we're going to build it on stream and like feature it on social media and like Reddit and the Discord servers, but I live here in Los Angeles, and I want to take it to the Peterson Automotive Museum. And for those of you who don't know, the Peterson Automotive Museum is a museum here in Los Angeles, and they have probably one of the most amazing car collections in a museum in the world. They have absolutely an amazing collection. They have cars that were featured in Hollywood, like cars that were super, super rare. So my plan is to take the board to the Peterson Automotive Museum and take pictures of it the board next to the P1 they have at the museum. Because for those of you who don't know, the McLaren P1 was a supercar produced by McLaren. They only made a handful of them, and it's about a $2 million car. So very, very expensive. And it's a really cool car. And I also just like car racing in general, especially like Formula One. So like I would call myself a McLaren fan, especially of their Formula One team. So to have a board that's themed after one of their most iconic cars would be so, so sick. So where are these 2 pins I got to solder? Where the heck did they go? So yeah, a lot of cool projects coming up. There they are. So yeah, we got some cool projects coming up. Let's see what the heck these switches cause. Let's make sure these switch plates work. I really don't want to have to deal with them. Alright, there we go. So, yeah, so it'll be really cool. So, like, that Baron BP1 project is going to be really sick. I'm really excited to work with Luke on that. So, alright, here we go. Let's just test those last 2 switches. So, letter N is working, and K, where everything works. We're good. We happy. Alright, we're happy, folks. Cool. I'm just testing all my switches right now. Sweet. Sweet. Alright, all switches work. So I have my little handful of dead switch plates over here, which is nice. So I got my yellow switches. So fantastic. So let's kind of take a look at this assembly. Let's put my yellow Alps away. There we go. Awesome. There we go. So Awesome. Toss those. But yeah, there we go, friends. So let me turn off. Oh, I actually got to keep my solder gun and we got to clean that thing. So here we go. Here is our yellow Alps assembly. So it looks pretty good, everybody. So that's what we're going to do. So really cool board. So this is, again, a tray mount. 60% is going to go in the Frog Mini Passante. So I'm going to take Careless's advice and put some painter's tape on the back of this PCB, just so I don't have any shorting, because it's going to be, I just don't want switches shorting or anything like that, or causing damage to like the PCB or whatnot. So I'm going to put some painter's tape on the bottom of this PCB just to kind of make sure everything just kind of sticks. So I'm going to take a cue from Careless and just put that tape on the bottom. So let's rip a little bit off right there, and we're just going to go from there. So the main thing is just to cover the pins. We don't want the pins causing any shorting or whatnot. So there we go. So just put, it's not really doing much. Alright, fuck this. Alright, never mind. The tape is not sticking. I'm just gonna, I'll be right back, everybody. Let me go grab a pair of scissors. Give me a second, everybody. Alright. Alright, here we go. Alright, I have a piece of foam that came into it, came with this board, so we're going to utilize that piece of foam. So, it kind of came in the case, so I'm just going to kind of cut this to the approximate size of the PCB, and then we're going to kind of go from there. So let me grab another one of my Steezies over, where the heck are they? Grab one of my Steezy PCBs, and we're just going to literally just kind of trace the outline, and then cut a piece of foam out. So this is another one of my Steezies that's waiting for a client build. So we're just going to do a little bit of an outline on this thing and then just kind of insert that in the bottom of the case. I'm normally not a big fan of foam, but just to kind of prevent shorting, that's what we're going to... Oh, I need a Sharpie. The way. It'd be helpful if I had something. I actually kind of knew what I was doing. Cool. Yeah, we're just doing a little mod here just to be able to make sure this thing doesn't fry itself. There we go. Alright, there we go. Cool. Alright. That's the fun of doing things live on stream. You just kind of make it up as you go. Which is most of the builds I do. I just kind of make it up as I go. I kind of figure it out. There's some pre-planning, but most of the time I'm just bullshitting it. So let's put this PCB back. That's one of my client PCBs. So, I got two 60%. Sweet. All right. Let's cut this piece of foam and let's put it in the bottom of the case and let's just mount this damn thing and get on out of here. Cutting this foam out. Perfect. Cut this other end here. Awesome. Again, this is just going to make life a little bit easier when we get to the end. So I just don't want to fry my PCB or hurt my switches or scratch my case. So I'm going to put a little bit of case foam at the very bottom. This isn't really for sound. This is just to prevent any type of shorting. So I'm just cutting it right now. It's not, can't really do it on camera right now. So okay, got that piece of foam. We just got to cut off one more side and then we'll stick this in the bottom of the case. And then we'll get it going. Alright, cool. Got that cut out. Let's just do a quick little test fit. Oh my god, I hate picking up this damn board. Yo, look at that. Look at that. Alright. We're gonna do a little cutout for the JST connector really quick. Give me a second. Awesome. Just had to do a little hole for the JST, but that is a perfect fit. So let's just put that to the side. All right, friends, we're just going to install our USB-C port in here and our little daughter board. So let me get that in the hardware. Perfect. All right, let's install our JST really quick here. So this case is the Frog Mini Passante. This board is absolutely crazy. It weighs more than some of my TKLs fully built. It's fully brass and it has a stainless steel weight. So this is just like kind of a ridiculous over the top 60% build, and that was kind of the intention and why I bought it, because it's just kind of insane. So it'll be really funny to take this to Keeb Life and I'll say, yeah, you can pick it up. And then someone's like, oh my gosh, it's insane. I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculously heavy. So this thing weighs like 8 pounds, just the case. It's wild. So let's screw this puppy in. Let's get our little JST in here. All right, let's get those screws lined up. There we go. Make sure that USB-C port is good. We're golden. Sweet. All right. Put that away. Let's put the rest of this hardware away. So we're not properly screwing it down. This is going to be a gummy O-ring mount. So just want to put everything together. So we're really not doing keycaps or stabilizers on this puppy today. I'm waiting on those keycaps and stabilizers to come. Just got to find that whole light cat. Where the heck did it go? There it is. Let's just guide that through. Cool. Awesome. Now let's get that O-ring, and then we should be pretty much done for the day, folks. Because again, I'm not putting keycaps on this one. I'm waiting on the keycaps, and then Carolus, I'll message you on Discord about just coordinating, getting you those like split right shifts for FK 2001s. So let's plug my little JST connector in here. All right, cool. Got the JST. Now let's carefully drop this assembly in here. Cool. Just give me a second. And there we go, friends. Just want to double check my daughter board is working correctly. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Look at that. So my little work pad, here we go. Let's kind of put it next to my Frog Mini, which looks pretty cool. And I also have my Frog Ligera. So let's see if I can get them all in frame. So, but yeah, I got all 3 Frog Minis, which is kind of crazy. So really cool. But yeah, this thing weighs more than both of these things. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy. So I love it. It's a super over-the-top build. So let's just plug it in really quick. There we go. Looking good. So I just want to do, my LEDs do come up. I just want to do a quick last test. Make sure everything's working correctly. So awesome. I'm just going to turn off the LEDs in the back of this. So let's just turn it off. Perfect. And let's go to my key tester. Let's make sure everything works here, and then we should be good to go. Let me just shrink my little VIA window down just so I can see it a little more clear. Awesome. So, perfect. 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 Macros are working. Perfect. All right, friends, we have a okay, hello friends, I didn't mean to do that. So there we go. So this board is pretty much done for right now. So it's going to be about 2 weeks until I get the actual keycap set for this particular board. So maybe in a couple weeks on concurrently on a gosh, what was it? In a couple of weeks on like a build stream for another build. I'll make sure to pull this board out, and we'll install the stabilizers and put the keycaps on and tune those stabilizers and get this board in its final form. This is just kind of crazy. So we have yellow Alps, and I think the yellow Alps go perfect with this case color. And again, you're never going to see the keycaps. I will know that they are there. So I do like sometimes having my switches match it. But this thing is absolutely insane. This thing's going to weigh like 10 pounds. This thing's going to be like 9 pounds when it's fully built. So it's absolutely crazy. Like this, it's like lifting a freaking weight. Like it's substantial. Like this weighs more than, again, a lot of my TKLs. And some of my really, really big boards. So this thing is insane. So I'm definitely hooked on having some all brass boards. So who knows? Maybe I need an all brass full size and have it weigh like 20 pounds. It'll be crazy. But there we go, friends. Again, those of you thank you for tuning in. Also, again, huge shout out to Careless. Careless, again, you are a freaking saint in the keyboard hobby, and we need more people like you. So again, just big shout out to you. Again, a lot of just love and respect for what you do in the hobby, man. You're awesome. So thank you so much, everybody. The VOD of this will be on YouTube later on this evening.